Okay, I have a real question. So, um, one of the things that people love to say about me is that I'm a victim. I'm always the victim. I'm always the victim. And I'm genuinely curious as to the situations that I speak on. How am I wrong in the situation? I'm genuinely curious. And I'm curious also because I'm curious to know because I understand that like people on this internet like they need content to try to make themselves famous, and I'm an easy target, but I see that all the time. And then because I am an incredibly self-aware person, I ask myself like, okay, are you the common denominator? And yes, I am the common denominator. And yes, I will burn a bridge. Absolutely. Because I don't feel the need to keep bridges open for people that aren't on a high vibration. But I'm genuinely curious. And so I would, I want to bring people up, and I'm very curious to hear what people think a story is. I don't know what the Nene Leaks rumor is. We talked about Nene Leaks, and I was saying, I feel like I don't know why she's not being honest, because do what you want to do. Like, love yourself and your choices. Don't feel like you got to lie to these people. That's what I said. But whatever. People need to take shit and turn it into something. So I am very, very like fascinated. I'm fascinated. And I don't think any of you all can really understand what it is like to see folks make a life out of misrepresenting you. Like, so anyways, I am I'm curious. So I would love to hear, like, what is um that I am being a victim about. I want to hear. The tone and delivery is draining. I want to hear. So someone declined. So what happens is y'all be putting your name in here to come on, and then you decline. But I really am genuinely curious. What is the story that you have heard me tell where I am playing a victim and there was a better way that I could have managed the situation to not have the outcome? I'm literally genuinely curious. This is not an ugly Christmas sweater, but I'm genuinely curious because I'm still wondering, like, what does that mean? What does she's always a victim mean? I get this all the time. She's always the victim. She's always the victim. She's always the victim. So in any situation that I have spoken on, hello. Are you going to speak? So I'm curious. I talked about that my show got canceled because they said that I am too polarizing and not consistently funny. And this has now been spun as she's always the victim. So I am really like, I want to know. So I'm genuinely curious. Tell me the situation that I spoke about where I was playing the victim. I'm waiting. I've now invited 4 different people up, and every time it doesn't work or something. Okay.
I just want to tell you that I love you. That's it. I didn't think you was gonna accept me, girl.
Not you,
Hey.
wait, are you doing your own hair?
No, my niece's friend is.
Hi, niece's friend. Hi, niece's friend.
This is Amanda, girl. You have to know her. I love you so much, girl. If I don't know if I could cuss, but if those people, I love you. We love you. We know you for the people. Period. We
I
love
just
you down
really be
here in
trying to. I
Dallas.
really be genuinely trying to understand, though. I need.
People,
I'm like,
don't worry about it. Oh, I can't believe you accepted me. I love now. Now we gotta be friends. Now you gotta be my friend. You gotta follow me back now.
contingencies. Well, you got to watch my show tomorrow morning at
Okay.
10 a.m. Eastern on YouTube.
Okay. So I'm central. So that's 9 on
That's
me.
9.
I'm there.
Mwah.
Period. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Um, that was awesome. All right, let's see. Someone saying comedy is another department, sugar. Tell that to George Carlin. Tell that to Dick Gregory. Comedy is another department. I literally have an HBO comedy special. I've literally been a comic for 12 years. I've literally sold out comedy tours. the the comedy is that for me the comedy is the consistency that Amanda Seales is a victim. Amanda Seales is a victim. She's always playing the victim. She's never wrong. And I want to know, in you guys' opinions, tell me a situation you heard about where I was actually wrong and didn't see the wrong in my oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. And didn't see the wrong. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I,
Oh, okay. So I actually like you, but if
I
you
don't care
know,
if you like me.
okay.
But
I just want you to know I do. I'm someone I listen to you and I respect you. But if I could mention something that someone where it was
yes.
said that you were a victim, like when you went on Shannon Sharpton show,
Shannon Sharp.
yeah, when on Shannon Sharp
Uh-huh.
show, and I guess the autism thing,
Uh-huh.
where I guess you, you was trying to explain to him a situation and you said that you were autistic, but you've never
Did
been
you watch
diagnosed.
the interview?
I did watch. It's been a
Okay.
while, but I did watch.
So I tried to explain the situation with autism.
Hmm.
I didn't. That
Okay,
didn't
so
actually happen. What happened was
okay,
he was asking me about what's been going on, what's new.
okay,
And I started talking about how I recently discovered that I am on the spectrum and started explaining my journey in that. And he immediately began undermining that as not legitimate and wanting me to prove to him the legitimacy of me being autistic.
right. Okay, so I'm sorry if I got everything wrong, but I know a lot of people, started making that a big thing. Oh, she said she's autistic, but like you're clearing up, you didn't actually say that. You spoke about the spectrum,
No,
and sometimes I do. People
I
think they
am
can
autistic.
self-diagnose.
No.
Okay,
I am autistic and I am self diagnosed and I have already had this approved of by my psychiatrist. And within the autism community, being self diagnosed is 100% legitimate, or else I wouldn't have said it. So there's that, right? So
okay.
I'm not out here saying I have cancer because that is not respected unless you get a blood test that says you got cancer. However, when it comes to autism, Black women so often, particularly Black women, particularly adult women, are not able to properly be assessed for autism because there isn't even enough study that a lot of these people, a lot of the autism assessors are even aware of in terms of how it shows up in older women, about how it shows up in women in general. Because for the most part, the pathology of autism is based on young white boys.
Yes.
So because of that, there has been a lot of work by folks who are older and coming into their awareness around how that shows up as an adult, around how that shows up when you were a child to an adult. The same with ADHD and ADD, right? So I think a lot of us will be able, and anxiety, a lot of us have now been able to understand what that language means as it relates to us when we didn't even have that language when we were younger.
Right.
You know, like I feel like now at 43, I'm able to realize that my mom has suffered from anxiety my whole life.
Mm.
Whereas it would have just been called stress or um it would have just been called stress, or it would have just been called I'm burnt out. When
Right.
really it's like, no, you're a single parent and you're always trying to handle, and that is absolutely going to cause
I
anxiety, right? So I
agree.
feel
Yeah.
like this language is expanding, and the beauty of science and medicine is that it expands,
Yes.
right? So we have been able to see in our time the understanding of autism and the spectrum expand. And I think what's so dope about that is that it's expanding in a way that's including Black women, because Black women have gone in there and expanded themselves, like saying
Yes.
like, no, no, this is how it applies. Now, I've had people telling me I'm on the spectrum my whole life. And I've always been like, no, because our only version of autism has always been folks who are nonverbal,
Yes.
you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
folks who are spinning, folks who are stimming in loud ways. And the truth of the matter is, autism is really just the way that your brain works, and it being on the spectrum is related to the ability that you have to exist in this world without this world affecting you in great ways. To me,
Is it?
that's the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people will say it's about disability. I say no, it's about different ability. And when I started finally listening to all the Black women in my comments
Yeah.
who would tell me, I think you're on the spectrum. I think you're on the spectrum. And I said, well, let me just try and take this seriously. And I asked my psychiatrist what would be the next steps. And she said, well, first you need to actually take some self tests. They have really built out the self test, say that 10 times fast, the self test space,
Mm-hmm.
because getting a diagnosis can be so expensive. Even just like even get therapy is so expensive. And you know, like I live in New York now. Let me tell you something. Therapy is like 400, I mean, $1,200. Like it's some insane amount a
Yeah.
week. But like I said, so a lot of the things that happen with autism when it shows up in people are things that I think a lot of people are very bristled by. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you are the kind of autistic that I am, which is I'm a high functioning autistic attached to gifted,
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain way that I speak that is very bristling to people. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
direct,
Yep.
right? I'm very direct. I have a very like loud tone. And if you think about the autistic people you know that are verbal,
Mm-hmm.
they are very direct.
Yes.
They have a loud tone. They
And
also are
very
very
matter of fact. Very matter of fact. Is no sweet way to say it. If a person is fat, I'm going to call you fat, and I'm not lying. You're fat. So that's kind of how I see it.
and so you learn over time, which is what socializing is. You know, you learn what's appropriate,
Hmm.
what's not appropriate,
Yes.
right? Like I've had to learn how to, I've had to learn when to tell the truth, even if I know the truth,
But you don't want to hurt
right?
anyone's feelings. Yeah.
And like sometimes it's like, no, but the truth has to be said. And it's like, okay, but you didn't have to say it now, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to say it now. There's also the rigidity. right? Like I used to really, 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 really struggle with flexibility when I was younger. Like if someone changed the time on something, if my mom rearranged my room or something, like I wouldn't be able to handle it. Like I would flip out. And I just remember watching um the show Parenthood, and this kid in the show had like a flip out about something so basic, and I was like, this feels close to home.
Yeah.
Like this is, so I say all that to say though that no, I was not using autism as an excuse
Okay.
for anything. People did that because their minds naturally made that excuse. Their minds naturally said, oh, she acts this way because she's different.
Yeah.
And she's trying to say that she doesn't have to act a certain, that she's trying to say that she's infallible because she's autistic. They're trying to say I'm infallible because I'm
Yeah.
autistic. And
Yeah.
nothing I said in that interview was.
Yeah, and I'm glad you cleared that up because I watched it, but I got it wrong, like a lot of people got it wrong, and I'm glad you cleared it up. I enjoyed the interview. I know maybe some people thought it wasn't a good interview. I thought it was good. I learned a lot from it. And you recently posted a picture up of you giving your teacher, your only black teacher who left, that I remembered the interview. I said, wow, a lot of the stuff is connecting. When you put that up there and showed that, it was very relatable. So I thought that was awesome.
Thank you
All
so much. I
right.
feel
Thank you for
like
having me up.
no, thank you for
Yes,
coming up, and thank you for
yes,
being
ma'am.
honest, and thank you for being like you really demonstrated how you can ask a really direct question and
Yes.
be respectful at the same time. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
this internet has taught us that we don't have to do that.
All right.
We
Thank you,
don't
and
know
I
how to do that.
appreciate you.
I
Take care. I
appreciate you
support you.
too.
All
Make
right.
sure you check out Views from Amanda Land Monday through Wednesdays, 10 a.m.
Yes,
to
ma'am.
whenever.
Oh,
She said, yes, ma'am. Whatever. She has a podcast called She Dick Energy. She Dick Energy. I don't know if that's the wait. I don't know if that's the name of the podcast, but that was her at was She Dick Energy, and she has a podcast. Um. So I genuinely came on here to ask. Please tell me a situation where I presented myself as the victim, because y'all say I present myself as a victim. Please tell me the situation where I presented myself as the victim. However, I was in the wrong. I know that there's stories out here that get misconstrued, etc. So I genuinely would like to know. I genuinely would like to know. So let's genuinely.
Hey, how you doing, sis?
How you doing, brother?
Good, good. Jude.
Hello, Jude.
Um,
Hey, Jude. You never hear that.
I've
Okay.
gotten that a couple times. So I think one of the incidents where it appears from the outside looking in, you were the victim with the was the Emmy party with
Okay.
with Issa Rae's publicist.
Right.
Because it sounded like you weren't invited to the function. Is that correct?
No, that is not correct. And I've said
Okay.
this a billion
Oh,
times.
okay. No, by the
It
publicist.
wasn't only her party. I was invited by one of the other people who was throwing the
Oh,
party. So if you're
okay.
going to throw, so if there's four people throwing a party, right? And everyone is inviting who they invite, why does this person then say, well, that person is not allowed in if someone else throwing the party has invited them?
Okay. Well, so
Especially
I
when
guess where
the person who invites you is actually a member of Black Hollywood. So if Jesse
gotcha.
Williams invites me to the party,
Okay. Was it his party though?
I just said that, yes.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to clarify.
I mean, I've just said it so many times. Yes,
Okay.
it was his party. It was Jesse Williams. It
Okay.
was Elijah. Um, what's Elijah's last name? And Elijah, actually, the funny part about Elijah is that not only was it, well, not only was it, hold on. Not only was he one of the Elijah Kelly, not only was he one of the actual hosts with the party,
Mhm.
he literally physically brought me into the party.
Okay. Okay. So I guess where it still seems like Like if somebody don't mess with me, then I'm just not gonna be in their space. You know what I'm saying? So if she's one of the people that are throwing the party and it doesn't seem like y'all have a cool relationship, then like I'm not even gonna put myself in a situation, you know what I'm saying, for something to jump off. So like why even be in a space if you know that one of the party planners, you don't have a good relationship with
Well, ultimately because it's Black Hollywood.
her?
There's only one party for the Emmys. And Black Hollywood is not gatekept by this one
Hmm.
individual. The party is a party for Black Hollywood. And ultimately, we work in the same industry. And
Hmm.
I would say that there's a whole other perspective you can have, which is a bigger person perspective.
Hmm.
Like whether or not I like you or don't like you, like that doesn't stop me from supporting something that you're doing.
Hmm.
And that doesn't stop me from also being valid in the space where it's happening. At the
Hmm.
same time, I think it's really fair to say that if I'm having an event that
Hmm.
is not my personal event, but it's actually an event for, so like for instance, if I'm having a I don't know, if I'm having an event for DJs
Hmm.
and some DJ, and it's like, this is an event for Black DJs.
Hmm.
There are Black DJs that I don't fuck with.
Hmm.
I'm not going to exclude them from the event. It's not,
Right.
the event is about Black
Hmm.
DJs. And as long
Hmm.
as they don't come in here fucking with me, then we don't have a problem.
I hear you.
And I think that's, to me, I feel like, um, she had a problem with me that I've
Hmm.
never even bought into. So
Okay.
there was no exacerbating of the issue. Like the year before, I went in the party with Jill Scott, and here we are the next year.
Hmm.
And I showed up to the party. I tried to leave. Several people were like, "No, you deserve to be here."
Right.
So if several people who are also in the industry with you, who do the work that you do, are demanding that you stay here, where am I being a victim by not? And
Hmm.
also,
Hmm.
I think there's something to be said for someone coming up to you and saying, "Hey, girl, it's
Hmm.
my party, and I don't feel comfortable with you being here."
Hmm. Hmm. So
Right? There's that.
that didn't
No,
happen.
she sent 4 security guards to escort me out of the party.
Hmm. Okay.
So there was one security guard who came and was like, "You need to leave." And I said, "Based on what?" And he said, "Because." So let me just really clear something up. So, you have people in here who are like, "Well, she's going to explain everything away to not be the victim."
Hmm.
I'm going to explain what happens.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm not going to claim something that I am not. So ultimately, no, the man came up to me and said, "Hey, you have to leave." And I said, "Well, whoever's asking me to leave needs to ask me
Right.
directly."
So then if there were multiple people who are hosting the event, why is it that then this person's, that you had to leave at this person's request? So where is Jesse? Like if they're all
Have you
both
been
like all
have
no,
you been to this particular venue?
no.
So this is a very large venue.
Hmm.
Jesse wasn't even in the. I mean, it's not like there's a main room. There's like the bar. There's
Hmm.
several different rooms. So there's really no expectation for everyone to be like with eyes on you.
Hmm.
But ultimately, that's irrelevant. I don't think any Black woman should be putting any other Black woman in danger,
No, I definitely agree with
especially
that.
about a party, right?
I agree with that, but if I don't have a good relationship with the person and I'm hosting a party and you're coming in the party,
What do
then, I
you
would,
consider to be not a good relationship?
well, I think you expressed, at least from what I've heard, like, in articles and stuff like that, that you two didn't have a good relationship, or at least it seemed one way where she didn't
So
have a
would
good
you say
relationship with
that
you.
having a good relationship is a large spectrum?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think there's something different with not having a good relationship with somebody because you've like done something to them
Hmm. Hmm.
and someone just not liking you.
Hmm.
That's different, right?
Okay. Appreciate it.
I would say so. I mean, if someone fucks my man, we do not have a good relationship. If someone votes for Trump, I may not like their choices. I may not like what they about. But I'm not stopping them from their joy.
Right, right.
So there's people on here like, I don't understand why you're entertaining this man. It's not even that I'm entertaining this individual. What you all don't understand sometimes is that conversations are a vessel. All right. So it's a vessel for other opportunities for understanding.
Hmm.
So this person here, you brother, he's asking questions that many people have posed who have thrown out. He's
Hmm.
just actually asking them to my face.
Hmm.
And whether or not he decides to understand or not understand is one thing, but you all are here watching in this unique internet space, and you get the opportunity to draw your own conclusions. However, I am speaking my own story, and that is something I very rarely get to do because people take things and run. Like this brother came on here and had no idea I was invited, and he has a different perspective on whether or not I should go to somewhere that's not. But ultimately, I don't believe that if someone is irrationally if someone has an irrational dislike of me,
Hmm.
that means that I shouldn't go to a party that's being run by 7 other people that fuck with me.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So
No, I understand.
that's my thoughts. I don't think that makes me playing the victim. I
Hmm.
don't expect a black woman to send 4 security guards to remove me from a
Right.
party. That to me seems very excessive.
No, I agree.
Uh,
I agree.
and I don't think that anyone should gatekeep areas that are for black folks. If it's a space that's for black Hollywood,
Hmm.
right? Also, it's like, can't we just all get along? Like, I'm not at your baby shower. So I feel like in those spaces, we should be able to at least put thoughts aside, put issues aside
Right.
for the general consensus of unity,
Hmm.
right? Like
Hmm.
in those,
Hmm.
because I was at all these other white parties that night, and I told every single person that I saw that was black, hey, they have the Black Emmys party down the block. Make sure you support. Make sure you support. Because everybody knows I'm about us. I'm about us. So I was really excited to be there because I know that when we're in these white parties, we be polka dots.
Hmm. Hmm.
We be polka dots. But
I appreciate you, sis.
no doubt. Did that clear things up for you?
It did. It did.
Thank you. Thank you
Have a
very
good evening.
much. You too. Y'all be so pissy about folks, and you shouldn't be. At the end of the day, like, this is a unique space that we have on this internet. It's a very unique space that doesn't really get to happen often. So I think that it would be advantageous to kind of just ride the wave. I know what I'm doing. Um so we'll take like 2 more because I have to go do small doses bonus episode. So the question is, when has a scenario been presented that I have presented where I was apparently playing the victim, however, I was, I guess, not. Sis, are you gonna come on the camera?
No.
Well, then why did you request to
I,
come on the
I wanted to do
camera?
comment.
Why do y'all be requesting to come on the camera and then don't come on the camera? I don't understand. Oh, she was ready. This person was ready.
I'm so excited to be here, and I look a hot mess.
Not at all. Not at all. You do not
First,
look
let
a
me
hot
say
mess.
I'm a fan, and I support you. And I also, but I'm not a yes man, right? And I do respect the fact that it's okay to have a different opinion just because you like someone. So don't think for 1 second that anything that I might say is based on just because I like you. I do have
Okay.
to say this. I kind of feel like we live in a time where they can't take it. They can't take us. It's like
Who's they?
the little subtleties of racism and everything that goes on in today's world. It's like people can't, society cannot take the exposure, being exposed. And when you're that type of person that is constantly exposing all the subtleties and not even so much just the subtleties, things that are actually in people's faces, they don't like that. And they also don't like when you take any moment and use that moment to expose. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, no, absolutely. Yeah. So like
So I kind of,
it's one
hmm
thing, for the moment to happen. It's another thing to have the moment happen and then use it as a light to shine a bigger. Okay.
that's it.
Hmm.
And I think that's the time because we're living in this time right now. I call it the we're living in the when keeping it real goes wrong. I don't know if you remember that skit back from Dave Chappelle. I feel
Oh
like we're
yeah.
living in that time where everyone wants to be so real, and it's like so real to the fact that it's going all wrong, but no one wants to really speak truths. And everyone wants to get along, but in reality, everyone just can't get along, and that's okay. But you can coexist, but don't stop someone from speaking on the reality of things. And I feel like that's what they often too much do to you because they want you to come and they want you to laugh and hee hee ha ha and bring that light. And it's okay until you start speaking some damn truths. And I think that's where it's at. It's not about you being a victim. Who the hell wants to be known as a victim? I do think that people do that. But, like, seriously, if you wanted to be a victim, you wouldn't be sitting here explaining every situation where you're saying I'm not the victim. And I just wanted to say that because it's mind-boggling the times that we live in, and it's like, oh, it's the victim mentality. How does that make me a victim? First of all, I don't even see myself as a victim. Okay? I'm not a victim, so don't disrespect me like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just wanted to let you know I support you. I get it. And I don't see nothing victim about you. Just keep doing you, keep doing your thing. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you. I mean,
you.
I think a lot of folks, the way they look at it is like if you know the rules and you're not gonna play by them, then you should be okay with whatever happens in response to that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that if we really dig deeper into that mentality, then that's really saying that we're okay with cops being all right killing us. That's saying that we should have been okay with slavery. Like we should just be okay with whatever is the framework and not push back.
That's it.
And I just don't agree with that. Like
That's right.
it's one thing to say um it's one thing to say like, okay, I'm trying to go in here and I'm trying to disrupt and I'm trying to shake shit up and we'll see what happens, right?
Right.
It's another thing to have people bring you into spaces
Know
because
what
they're
you're
like,
about. Bring me in a space because I sell orange juice. And then get mad when I sell orange juice because you wanted apple juice. I'm sorry.
so
Who the
that's
hell am I for being me? Like,
and
how dare you be
I
you?
literally feel like that's what I be watching when folks. I feel like the only way that I'll tell you the one way that I definitely not play, but the one way that I've never been able to really grasp is
Hmm.
like, Amanda, like you have to grasp that if you live like this, people will respond. There are people who will respond like this.
Hmm.
And there's a part of me in my heart and soul that be like, but why?
I don't want to be the one, but whatever.
And so
I get it.
that's
I
and
get
so
it.
but I think all of us, the other thing too is that all of us are like really complex beings
Hmm.
and we don't give each other enough grace to do that, especially
Hmm.
like people in the public. Like they don't allow us to be that. Like
No,
I can be silly one day, I can be super serious the next hour, I can be incredibly soft and loving, I can also be hard and edgy, like all of these things. And especially as a black woman, like we end up having to navigate all that shit with kung fu precision, right?
our life
So
is an emotional roller coaster, and we got to always constantly keep our shit in check all the time while navigating through life. And that's what people get. Everything isn't always a joke. Yeah, this might be, you might want me to be here to be funny, but everything isn't always funny. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why they use comedy is because comedy is like a soft
yeah,
blow for truth, in my
it
opinion. It's a
is.
soft blow for truth. So expect to get some truth and some honesty out of me. Don't expect it all to be, shits and giggles all the time, because it ain't always funny.
And these days and times, I feel
And
like if people, a lot of times, it's not everybody, of course, but a lot of people feel like if I have to think, then it's
hmm,
not funny.
no. Whatever happened to thought provoking?
Ooh. Yeah, that's now considered thought
Yeah.
provoking is now considered controversial
And it's
or
sad
hostile.
because everything can't just be right there in your face for you. Sometimes you actually got to use your mind, but also you're in a world where a lot of people come from nothing. And keep in mind that even though they might be our skin folk, honey, they are not willing to go back to where they used to be. And if they don't do what the masses want them, or the master wants them to do, they feel like they're going to lose it all. And they're not okay with that. And it's really weird to me how people are not okay with losing something, losing, how can I say this? Our people are so afraid of being kicked out of a world that's not even ours. And that shit is crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Instead of creating our own space, right, wrong, and indifferent, they're worried about being in someone else's space. And child, just all I can tell you is be careful, watch yourself, and keep a lot of regular un-Hollywood people around you. I'm
I
right here in Brooklyn.
left.
So
I no,
keep a lot of us New
I
Yorkers
left LA and
right
I
in that
left
circle.
Hollywood. I left all of that on purpose.
Mm,
I
girl.
say y'all can have it.
Hmm. It's as fake as all the plastic surgery around you. I'm trying to tell you. But thank you so much
Thank
for having
you.
me. I really appreciate you. Always been a fan. Thank you,
Appreciate you.
sister.
That was so
Good
enlightening.
night.
Thank you. So one thing that's interesting about y'all is that a lot of times people will come on and want to stay on forever, but these guests be like, and I've said my piece. Good night. So this is going to be my last guest. The question I was asking was, I am constantly labeled as someone who plays the victim. I am constantly labeled as a narcissist. I am constantly labeled as somebody who is never, she's never wrong. She's never wrong. And so what I would love to hear is if you can tell me a situation where, or story that you have heard that you feel like I was misrepresenting myself as being in the right or being in a place of justice when actually I was not. So that's what I've been asking, because I'm just really curious, and we've had some really great folks come on here and just ask real genuine questions, and I think that's the best we can do. Um, and so I just want to know, like I beat myself up so much about being wrong, so that's why it's always fascinating to hear folks be like, she's never wrong, and I'm like, I'm over here crying in the shower.
Yeah.
Um, Hi, brother.
Um,
We caught you in the middle of. Are you eating coconuts?
no, it's basically charcuterie, but we're chilling. Just a little bit.
I love it.
Yeah. But
Okay, so did you hear my question?
yeah.
Okay.
So I was gonna say this is one that's I was never on the other side of it, but it's one that I had a conversation with a friend about, and it was I forgot his name already.
You don't
Um,
got it. We already
Rob
know.
Shay. Huh?
Oh, Shay. Never
Yeah.
mind. Okay, go ahead.
So it was that interview, and I had a friend that was basically like afterwards how the conversation came up about the way that he asked people questions as a result of like y'all's interview. My friend was like, "Oh, this is another situation where she's the victim," and I'm like, "No, this is a situation where he brings people on to tell the truth." And I noticed after your interview that both the Monique interview, your interview, and the Meg Thee Stallion interview that like it was a well, why were you there? Why were you doing this? Because it was the Monique one where he was like, well, what did Tyler Perry say? And this, that, and the third. Your interview where it's like, oh, well, should you have been there? Blah, blah, blah. And then I saw part of the Meg Thee Stallion one. That was like the last one that I
Hmm.
watched. And I was like, if you if you notice, there's kind of a pattern here because guys come on and say and do whatever. So I'm like, so can we not connect the dots? And I think like a month or two after your interview, Meg's interview came on, and she was like, "Yeah, I didn't like the way that he was just like attacking her and asking questions and stuff." And I was like, remember we had this conversation a month ago." But like I said, I know that that's a more recent one, and I'm not gonna do all the talking, but I know that
No,
like even
that's why you
or-
on here to talk.
but like I know even like since that interview, I feel like just for me personally, I was like, after your interview, I was like, this kind of a wrap for me in the club. Shay Shay, like the Cat Williams video was funny. There were some
Mhm.
funny clips from Monique, and then after like your interview, I was like, yeah, this dude isn't a good interviewer, and that's where the issue is. Like he was just out of his out of his
His depth.
intellectual depth, and that's what the issue was. But like,
That
I don't know.
was a
So
weird interview to watch.
yeah,
Like I don't. So people were upset at me because they were like, "Well, you hugged him and then you talked shit after." And what I don't think people really grasp is what was happening was I was having to be in defense mode. And as a woman, um, there's like certain things that you learn over time that will save you.
yeah,
So one of those things is infantilizing yourself, right? So like sometimes you'll see when like if you like start talking like a baby like baby talk. Also like becoming again, and that was well, so that was my version of infantilizing myself. Like, can I have a hug? Like, and you start making yourself smaller and trying to diffuse. And so you start doing things like playing to them. So you'll see, like in that interview, I had to change once I decided in my mind that I wasn't going to leave, I had to change my approach. So you'll see that I started like using football analogies.
yeah,
You'll see that I even started like sitting back. So now I'm sitting back. I'm not I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? Like giving that. And I knew that I had to change it from the vibe of like me trying to convince this person versus like, okay, just he likes to kiki,
yeah.
like he like
Everyone says that the gays and the
and
girls like mess the most, but literally that show is the most messiest thing that exists of
so
all
I
things.
realized that I needed not play into, I needed to be in that space because that's more like his comfort zone versus I thought I was coming into my comfort zone.
Yeah,
And I felt that way because they told me that. And so I realized like really soon, like, oh shit, I'm not safe here. I'm
yeah,
not safe. Ah! and the bells start ringing, and then when people start kind of like, anytime people start defending or undermining the possibility of
Yeah.
racism, I always just turn down, because there's just no reason, there's no evidence to suggest that someone's claims of racism are not valid.
Right. 'Cause
Like,
I forget the exact thing, but I remember there was the thing you were talking about with like a kid call you the N word, and he was like, "Well, you know how kids play," and I was like, "What? What are we? What are we talking about?" In no other context would it be like, "Oh, somebody called you the N word." Well, why?
well,
Other than
what were you wearing?
so, yeah, but like after that, like and it was a conversation that we kind of sort of had about like just because you don't like someone, like there's people that I don't like, but
Mhm.
I would never like undermine something if that make like
Yes.
of theirs. Like that might be their experience. Like I don't rock with you, but cool, fine, dandy. Like what you're going over there. Like I can still not wish bad upon you. Like,
Well,
but just whatever you're
I
doing over there, do that over there. And I feel like people don't do that. I feel like it's more like a no. I need to see the end. I need to be the end of this person's like happiness, and I don't understand that like that energy.
well, I'm not supposed to have issues. So I've never seen someone say it until I saw it in the comment section the other day. And someone said, she has light skin, pretty smart privilege, and still complains all the damn time.
So yeah,
But
it's like
that's really the vibe for a lot of folks. It's really like, shut the fuck up. Like, you got fortunate that in this day and time you got the things that give you privilege in this day and time, so shut the fuck up. And someone in here is like, well, we can't knock a pro football player for figuring out how to be successful in media. Yes, we can, if it's at the forfeiture of regard for other people. Yes, we can.
yeah.
But there's someone in here who is like, they have no picture and they have no name, but they got all the smoke. And and what I will say about that Shannon interview is that I don't think most people would have lasted 5 minutes, because most people have never had to sit in a hot seat. They've never had to be in an interview where they are now defending themselves, unless they were on First 48.
Yeah, and that more so gave the energy of like you remember three-way call when it was like someone would call you and you didn't know the other person was on. I was like that more so was the energy that I felt for you was like, oh, we were supposed to be talking about this. It was supposed to be chill, and you're like, oh, surprise, this person entered in the chat. Sarah
That
was
is
on mute the whole time, and I
so
was like,
surprise. That happened to me once when someone was accusing me of having an affair with their husband. And I was like, ma'am.
need to have
And I
this
was
conversation.
on the phone with him because he's my boy. And I was like, what is going on over there with y'all? Why is this what is happening? And then she was like, surprise. Nothing's going on with us. I was like, sis, please.
Everyone lost.
But I appreciate that you just showed your age, because people don't know about the
Oh
three-way.
yeah,
They don't know about it. Well, thank you so much.
you're
Thank you
welcome,
so much.
and we'll
And
see you
I
in small
appreciate the
doses.
honesty. And tell your friends, I appreciate them being receptive to your counter.
Yeah,
Have a good
you
night.
too. Like, I don't think I can get off.
I I got you. The three-way generation. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know about the three-way generation. That was a real thing. Surprise! I'm on the phone. What? Listen, you learn a lot when people's mics are on. You learn a lot. Sometimes people don't realize their mic is on, and then they're heard, and it's like, now I know. And I am a difficult person to work for. 100%. I will tell you that. I am a difficult person to work for because I demand greatness. I demand it. I demand greatness because I am great. And I'm giving greatness. And so I need greatness in my space to help continue to facilitate the greatness that I'm giving. Yes, I am absolutely about that. So this person here who's been talking shit the whole time, KBP82483, I will tell you personally this. The question is not about likability. In regard to you, the question is about cowardice. I want to know where your actual bravery and courage lies, because you're sitting up here talking incredibly disparaging to me on my own platform behind no picture and behind no name. And that is what the internet has done for so many people. It's giving cowards, a sense of power. It's given callow individuals this feeling that they have a right to say whatever they want to say. And the truth is that if you're not going to actually say it from your face to me directly, then you don't even have a right to address me directly, because I exist in a place with my own name and my own face to millions of people on a regular basis. The level of courage that it takes to do that is something that a lot of people don't have. And it's not a shade thing. We all have courage in different spaces. Trust me, there's certain shit people will do that I would never do. However, to me, I'm like, I'm not going at somebody about shit that I would never, ever find myself involved in, because I'm not a coward, I'm not callow, and I'm not a hypocrite. And a lot of reasons, and a lot of times, those are the reasons why people don't like me. People don't like me because I don't give a fuck about eventually not liking them if they do me dirty. People don't like me because I speak in a very direct and serious tone. People don't like me because I hold them accountable. People don't like me because if I don't like something, I will express it. And then they don't like that you expressed it. No matter how you expressed it, they don't like that. That's why people don't like me. And I'm okay with that. I've gone to therapy for years and years and years to be okay with that. And now I get to talk about it so that other people will be okay with that. Because so many of us are not okay with ourselves. So many of us want to kill ourselves based on other people's insecurities, based on other people's limitations, based on other people's fears. We don't even realize that we're internalizing that shit, and it's making us hate ourselves. It's making us disconnect from our souls. I'm very connected to my soul, deeply, deeply connected with my soul. I don't need to be likable. I'm not for everybody, but I'm for enough. I'm for enough. And I shout out everybody out there who makes it they business to stop me when they see me and say thank you. Thank you. Because I know that I am a vessel for a higher power's voice. I know that. And I was convinced otherwise by people who don't do shit connected to a higher power. Okay. They don't do shit connected to a higher power. I saw somebody on YouTube today saying Amanda Seals, she is officially hit rock bottom. Y'all don't even know what rock bottom is. I have wanted to end my life before. That is rock bottom. Rock bottom is talking to a nigga who's laid up with a chick who he just fucked, who had drugs in her pussy, and you still like that nigga. That's rock bottom. Okay? So don't tell me about rock bottom. I've been to rock bottom. I've been there. I've looked at it. I've seen it. Okay? I've miscarried. I've seen rock bottom. I've been sexually assaulted. I've seen rock bottom. If you think me no longer having a radio show and me not participating in Hollywood is rock bottom, baby, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you because you don't even realize that you are the one at rock bottom. Because you are the one that is holding these spaces up. No, no. I am high vibration. We up, we up, we up. And I think it is incredibly important that we make choices and that we open our eyes and our minds and our hearts to shifting what we consider to be the bottom and what we consider to be the top. And understanding that so often we have been told and misled to believe the top is something that it really is not. So I appreciate y'all. I was feeling low and I came on here to have honest conversations, and those honest conversations made me feel up again. And I am just full and so thankful that you see me stimming. You see me stimming. I'm full and so thankful that I've made it this far, and that I continue to be supported by folks who have shared values of honor and of shared values of ethics and shared values of morals. And you start to realize, like, you're never going to be this idea of perfect and this idea of likable and this idea, all this shit, it's what it is. But at the end of the day, let me just keep it to you real basic. People in your life, if you tell them, hey, this shit right here, it upset me, and they didn't take no roads to try and fix that, them not your fucking people. Those are not your people. And that is the part that people can't understand. And that's the part that I understand. If I share with you, hey, this right here didn't vibe with me, and you can't have a conversation with me about that, you not my people. So tonight, we had people that came on here and were able to say, this didn't vibe with me. And I was able to have a very calm, respectful, back and forth conversation with them, because people is people. And I feel great that those people all showed up as my people, and simply just how they responded. And that is what we really need to work on, how we respond, because that's community. And I just want to say this one last thing, y'all. Community is inconvenience. I've been saying it, but then I saw someone else say it, so we bringing it again. Community is inconvenient. Community is not whether you like somebody. Community is not whether you all have something in common. Community is, nigga, do you work for Radio One? Do you work for Radio One? Because you don't even know what the fuck happened. Amanda, you're working with other humans. If they are in control of anything monetary based, they do not have to employ you. No, they don't have to employ me. What? Um, no one has to employ me. That doesn't mean that it's okay when they choose not to employ you. Um, but community is inconvenient, and I want to remind y'all that at the end of the day, it's really about, I blocked them. At the end of the day, it's really about what makes up community, what determines community. And that's really a necessity. And we about to be in necessity. So, um, I'm about to head on over to Small Doses bonus episode, which we do every Sunday at 7:30 Eastern on Patreon. Subscribe to my Patreon, $5 a month. You get bonus content. You get ad-free episodes of my podcast, Small Doses, as well as of my new show, Views from Amanda Land. And you also really, at the end of the day, you get a community of folks that really care about compassion. They care about culture, and they care about, what did I write here? Creativity. So I'm gonna bring them same vibes over to tomorrow, and I can't wait to see you all there. In the meantime, in between time, we are each other's business. When we look out for each other, we lift each other up. I'll put this up one more time just so y'all can see it. Amanda Land, Amanda Land, Amanda Land. Bing, 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 bing. See you tomorrow morning.